back. My name is Dio Reynoso. I'm here with CEO, president, chairman of the board. He owns 92% of this company. It's Donovan Behan. Hi, Don. How's your day going?
Good. How are we doing today?
I sold all of my shares to a Malaysian oil tycoon, and he's going to make some rapid changes to our employment very soon.
Sounds like it.
Welcome back. We took a week off. There was just a bunch of stuff happening that we had to take momentary breaks from, but we're back.
That's good. Work-life balance is good. Fact
of the day, Don.
So fact of the day, because this is going to be, prelude, we're going to be very hockey, basketball heavy, considering playoffs right now.
I'm not going to talk about any other sport today.
So I decided fact of the day, let's change it up. We're focusing baseball.
Ooh. I was lying. I guess we're talking about baseball.
I'm just going to force you into something else. And it's one of the weirdest things I found recently.
Okay.
So in 1999, the Anaheim Angels,
good year,
before they changed their name to the Los Angeles Angels, before they turned their name to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
The best iteration of the name so far.
I think so, Anaheim Angels.
I want them to go like the Orange County Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. That's ultimate peak.
just complete mouthful.
Yeah.
They might have the only case I've been able to dig up of an MLB ejection being reversed.
What do you mean reversed?
So,
like someone got kicked out and then they were like, "You're back in."
Yes.
Okay.
So in 1990, so they were playing the Rangers at the time, and the team was in a team-wide slump. Like most of the team just could not hit at all that for a while, for a few months.
Angels, right?
Angels.
Is this when that little kid was like, "I see angels in the outfield," and then they started scoring a bunch? No?
But I think it might be based on this.
Yeah. So, Danny Glover was like coaching the team.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is Jim Edmonds on the team was the only guy who was able to hit consistently. So the entire team decided to rid us of this slump. We're all going to use the same bat, and it's going to be Jim Edmonds' bat.
Did they all
for the
use
entire
the physical
game.
app or like the same make and model?
No, the same physical bat.
So
they
sick.
just passed it down
sister
the line.
Of traveling bats.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And the first bat in the first inning, Orlando Palmeiro was up, strikes out looking in 3 pitches.
It's okay. Yeah.
Rough way to start a game, but it happens. It happens.
Angels baseball.
He drops the bat in the pitcher's box or in the batter's box, just drops the bat and walks back to the dugout. Mm-hmm. The ump thinks he's disrespecting him, and immediately throws him.
Yeah, that's baseball.
That's what that means.
Yeah.
The next batters all run up and have to explain to the umpire, we're just in a slump. We're all having the same bat.
Yeah.
He was leaving it for the next guy.
Gotcha.
To be nice. The ump took a few minutes and reinstated Orlando back into the game.
You know what? People bag on refs a lot for not being able to adapt with the times. That's them clearly, having a voice and understanding that, hey, some things are bigger than baseball. These guys are having a slump. Let them all share a bat. Let them all have a good time together.
Exactly.
Did they win that game?
No, they did not win that game.
Damn
they did not go on to win that game.
They should have.
But
then you just should have kept them ejected. Yeah.
Who knows what that would have changed?
Yeah, we should have just kept them ejected. Yeah.
But it's the only case where I've ever seen an ejection in any major North American sport be overturned in the middle of the game.
I feel like refs are so scared to overturn calls. It
feels like it.
It's okay to admit that you're wrong.
Yeah.
If evidence is showing you that something that you said before is wrong, it's almost a more manly thing to be like, I was wrong. Let's reverse this and make something right.
Then that's why I wanted to bring up this one. Is you had Aaron Boone for the Yankees like the other week.
Yeah.
Get ejected for a fan yelling.
Yeah.
They
said he was yelling. He said something to the ump, and the ump was like, I heard you say that. And he's like, I literally did not say anything.
And the ump said, like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, just...
Here's the thing.
But they were able to show that he was wrong. There's other sports, like in basketball, like there's been guys ejected because of a quick push and shove, and then they just want to throw somebody out to control the game.
It all depends on how big of a star you are, too. Like,
exactly.
They'll throw Patrick Beverley out of any game. Draymond Green's kind of gotten to the point where they're like, he's the example of always throwing out a star.
Yes.
But, like, if Jokic, like, bumped into someone or like did a little dirty move, which he's Embiid's done some dirty stuff too. They ain't throwing him out.
That's true.
Yeah.
So it's like I'd rather them just admit like when they get it wrong. Because like that's what I love about the review, like that they're implementing the review more. We saw that in the T-Wolves Nuggets game. Like Or no, my bad. The Knicks Pacers game. Like
Yeah.
they were at the booth like 5-6 times in the first like quarter.
Oh, there was a point
because they were just
in the
double checking everything.
In the Knicks Pacer game, there was a point where the ref was like, nothing. Like he quite literally said, like, they got chippy. Nothing happened. We're moving on.
And
like,
I
he
love
literally
that
said that, and I
because
was
it
like,
keeps the game going.
I was like, that's my boy.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I say to my son when him and his cousin get in a fight. I'm like, did anyone break an arm? No. All right, continue play. Like,
Yeah.
what would? I think more teams need to take a cue in hockey. Let the boys fight. Put them on power play. Run it back. Like I'm fine with that.
That I don't know about full fist fight, but like that would be interesting if like
Grab a guy by the back of the jersey and just get a couple swings in. A little mouse in the palace.
Nah, I'm not. I don't know how I feel about that because, like, I'm just thinking if that
don't
translated
want it
to other sports. Like, I'm
want
just
it
imagining someone Shaq size and Steph Curry.
Yeah,
like,
that'd be awful.
That'd be terrible.
Jokic putting hands on Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards clamps him up. Actually, not never mind.
That one's
speaking about the NBA playoffs. Let's move on to some playoff updates. We're going to cover every series so far in the playoffs that are currently going through in the NBA and
all
the
round
NHL. We're going to try to hit them, as much as we can,
Sure.
but swiftly.
Yeah, I mean, these are still ongoing. It's kind of just a quick check-in.
Yeah, we're just checking in. We're just seeing how the boys are doing.
Yeah.
I want to start with the Nuggets Timberwolves, but we're gonna wait to that to be the very last team because
Sure.
as of right now, they're currently up about with 5 minutes left, about 20, a little less than 20.
Yeah, this one's been a rougher one.
101 to 87.
Jokic was in his bag.
He's literally dropped 40 plus points. The 4-time defensive player of the year could not do anything against him.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that at the end.
Sure.
Let's start with the Pacers and Knicks, another game that just happened. Don, you got anything to talk about the Pacers and Knicks? Because I have a whole mouthful.
For me, I think the big thing is the Knicks are leaving the door open for the Pacers at the moment, just due to injuries.
They whooped their butt today, though.
No, today they did. They did. But I mean, just overall in the series. I'm not talking about one game. We're looking at a 3-2 Knicks going into Game 6.
Home team have won every single game so far. Knicks have won only at home. Pacers have won at home. Pacers going back to Indiana for Game 6.
Yeah, which is going to be interesting.
Pacers are going to be favored.
We'll see if OG is back.
I think he will be back.
He was questionable coming in. I want to just shed some light on Halliburton right now, though, for playing through what he's been playing through, considering he's had back spasms, a right ankle sprain,
He's a dog.
and a sacral contusion, which is like severe bruising of the lower spine.
Yeah.
And he's still putting up numbers.
He's doing really, really well. I've said it at the beginning of the year before the season started. I thought Tyrese Halliburton's about to make the leap into superstardom. He didn't quite get there. I think
he got close. I think he was
very close.
One of the top 5
I
in
think he's
assists.
knocking
Like,
on the door.
He's right there.
Of like what Shea did this year, of like Shea's now a superstar.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards is now a superstar. I think next year is the Anthony Edwards. I'm a superstar too.
Yeah,
Like,
that'd be great to see.
Everyone knows I like the Pacers a lot.
Yeah.
I love what they're able to do. But you're right. The Knicks, as beat up as they are, and as I'm a crucial Tom Thibodeau guy, I like his coaching style, but he plays his guys so many minutes during the regular season.
It looks
in the playoffs.
exhausting.
It's an exhausting brand of basketball.
Yeah.
But your boys are bought in. It really just depends. Like, it's happened to every single one of his teams, from the Chicago Bulls to the New York Knicks. His guys run out of gas.
Yeah.
And I'm worried that after that 76ers series and whatever happens in this Indiana series, if they do have to go to Game 7, and let's just say they do win, they're about to go through a buzzsaw in Boston.
Yeah, they're going to be cooked at that point.
And they're all going to be just hanging on a limb. Now, I want to talk about something that Draymond Green's talked about and something that I've said.
Sure.
Draymond Green's gotten criticized because he's saying that this New York Knicks team is having a fluky year, saying that the only reason that they're here is because of a weak East and favorable matchups, and them going to the Eastern Conference Finals just for them to get bounced in like a 5 or 4 game series.
Yeah.
Is almost worse for their franchise development, because now they think they're one piece away, or they have the pieces, they just weren't there because of injuries, when in fact they were just there because of fluke injuries or a fluke season. I kind of agree with him.
I disagree.
We've seen teams do this with like the Atlanta Hawks a few years ago. With the Miami Heat last year, where they just catch a little bit of fire and then they're able to ride momentum.
I think I do agree with the fluke.
Yeah.
Because I didn't expect them getting this far, considering Randall is out, considering OG has been out for a lot of the season. Like, that's where I'm finding it fluky.
Mitchell Robinson also, like, it's crazy.
Out. But I think on the flip side, if they're able to make this kind of run, considering you've had two of your better players, two out of your starting rotation, and then one kind of in and out constantly, all very important, and you're able to make this kind of run, I think you are a piece away. Because like you've had Brunson take that next step. And when Randall comes back, you have an even bigger, more physical guy.
I don't think Randall's on that team next year.
Josh Hart was playing backup to him.
Yeah, I know, but like, Josh Hart is like...
He's been playing great. Yeah, he's been playing great, but I think Hart would be amazing as an electric six-man.
Oh, he is a six-man. He's like a fun six-man.
But he's been getting starting minutes because of
He's
injuries.
Literally not gotten off the court. He's nonstop playing. No, so crazy.
I think that if you're able to avoid catastrophic injuries to your stars next season, you have a team that can make a run.
You think the Pacers got the next game?
I'm worried about it. I think so. It depends on Halliburton. He did take a nasty spill at one point.
It's getting chippy.
It's getting chippy. I'm just worried about his health.
I agree. I'm kind of worried about the Pacers going into the next game, but we'll see. Let's go into the Mavericks versus the Thunder. Right now we're at 3-2.
We're at 2-2.
2-2. Okay. You talk first because you know what I'm about to do.
Yeah, you're gonna go. I'm going to focus on the positive for a second. I think Thunder
stay positive here.
Thunder are defying every one of my expectations at the moment.
All right, so before playoffs started, me and you both said the team that we think is going to be the most disappointing is the Thunder.
Yeah.
They've been awesome.
They have been. They're playing, like, Shai has been playing with confidence.
All-star level.
You have, basically, you have
Dort
guys
playing insane defense.
I did not think Dort was going to step up in this manner.
Chet Holmgren's continuing what he was doing in the regular season and the postseason.
Yeah. And there hasn't been a substantial answer to their dynamic play. Like, basically, like if you look at the last game, Mavs ended up blocking 13 shots alone in that game.
So when
they were able to adapt.
I didn't get to watch the first half of the game. I came home and you were like, hey, man, they're just blocking everything. I was like, what do they got, like 4 or 5 blocks in the first half? And you're like, nah, dude, they have like 8. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah. And I was like, oh, no. And Gafford was just blocking everything. It was crazy.
But if you look at the overall series right now, Mavs have more points in the paint, more overall rebounds, have had more contested shots, and overall more blocks. They are dominating the interior. And the Thunder are finding ways to adapt still. Yeah. That's what I'm loving about this young core.
I saw someone talk about the Thunder, and they're like, how can a team that looks so awful in the middle of a game always somehow pull out a win? And those are the championship teams.
Those often are.
Those are the teams where you're like, I kind of want them because they're battle-tested. It's something that the Celtics really can't say. The Thunder got to play a really good Pelicans team. I don't care what anyone says.
No, the Pelicans were good.
The Thunder are playing a good Mavericks team. And the Thunder are probably going to end up having to play either a great Nuggets team or a rising Minnesota team. By the way, the game is over. Denver has won. Nikola Jokic goes for over 40. He balls out.
So that's 3-2 Nuggets in the series now?
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end.
But
I'm gonna go.
Oh no, go get on your soapbox. Okay. I'll let you have the time.
All right. So I bet heavy on the Mavericks last night. As some of you know, I have a Mavericks future. Shout out to the Mavericks. As everyone knows, I'm not the biggest Luka fan. But
Understatement.
I put it to the side and I said I'm gonna root for this European slum. I'm gonna root for this man. I'm going to cheer for him in a way that I've never done before. And I was cheering for him to score for me. I even bet on him twice when they were down by 6.
Yeah. You kept re-upping that money line.
And in the moment, when he got to the free throw line, and he had the chance to tie the game, and I don't care that there was 10 seconds on the clock, and
a tie is a tie.
The Thunder might have been able to score. It doesn't matter. You're right. A tie is a tie. And when he needed to, he disappeared like the Avatar.
That's a good one.
Here's the thing. I want to go really in on Luka. Yes, he only had 18 points. Yes, he was miserable from shooting. But I'm not going to do it because for the first time ever, I'm going to defend Luka. Kyrie Irving has not shown up in the way I
He
wanted
has
him to.
disappeared in 2 games now. 9 points last game.
They're relying on PJ Washington, and guess what? The Thunder said, we're going to let Kyrie beat us then. We're going to cover PJ Washington, and they did.
Yeah.
And they literally were like, Luka beat us. Now, do I still think Luka is a ball-handling point guard that can sometimes hold the ball too long and not get the rest of his team involved? 1,000% that happens. Do I still think he's a defensive liability more times than not? 100%. Do I still feel like he's flopping a lot? It looks like he's in car crashes during the entire game. Yes. But at the end of the day, it does look like Luka, along with Gafford, might be the only 2 players on this team that look like they're hustling their ass off and like that are currently injured and always busting their butt to do something big for their team. Whether it's good or bad, it's usually been bad for Luka this past this entire
These last
series.
2 games, yeah.
Well, the second game he was awesome. I
Yeah.
can't. But like, I'm waiting to see the Luka that everyone tells me.
Sure.
I'm waiting for the Luka that's like, oh, that's undeniably
Like
the best player
the
on the
takeover.
planet. And I haven't gotten it. And I understand that he might be injured with a foot, but I do take injuries into account, but I don't because everyone's injured.
Yeah, people are
Everyone's
beat up
hurt.
at this point.
How do you feel about Luka's performance?
It's disappointing, but it's also, I don't put it fully, like you said, I don't put it fully on him. If they were able to be other guys on this roster to step up, I think that his game would be a lot more efficient, and I think that his scoring chances would rise because they're not going to be double covering him aggressively
They're
every
on
time
his butt, dude.
like he has no space. That's I think the issue is
He also dribbles so much.
he
There's
does
so
dribble a
much
lot,
about this game I hate.
but he doesn't distribute because no one else is scoring.
Yeah,
Like he does when he passes. Like you got Washington doing what he can, but PJ Washington is not a takeover star.
no.
But if he could put up 20 points a night,
He was in those first few games. It's just like we're at a point now where Kyrie did not show up, and
no one else
waiting
has shown
for
up
him to.
consistently.
Yeah, it's
so
been gross.
And I think that's why Luke is holding the ball so long is he has nowhere to trust where the ball can go.
Yeah.
It's on him. And that's not a good spot to be when you're the star.
Yeah, he's quite literally asked to do everything, but look, there are other stars that are in this playoffs right now that are being asked to do a lot of things, and they're able to carry the weight and not disappear the way Luka's doing it. And Luka does. There's so much about his personality I don't like, whether it's the tantrums that he throws, even though he gets a ton of calls, and I'm quite literally always on the floor flopping, which is fine. That's part of the game, but it's like it's all added up into one thing where I'm like, I can look past it if you're finishing and you just couldn't in that moment.
I mean, we still
disappointing.
have a minimum of 2 more games in the series.
No, that's the thing. I haven't given
yeah.
up on the Mavericks. I
No.
also still believe that the Mavericks can beat the Thunder, but I'm also like, maybe the Thunder deserve it more because the Thunder have been more consistent.
They have been.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see on this one. But this is one where I'm like, either team could be dangerous, but either team could completely fall apart, I feel.
Celtics Cavaliers. I mean, we can go through this quick, right? Boston is just walking away with it. It's a series that has shown me how unserious the LeBron-less Cavaliers franchise really is. Did you see the T-shirts that they were handing out before
No.
the game? It said Eastern Conference semifinalists on it. They were kind of celebrating the fact that they made it to the second round, which is exactly why LeBron left Cleveland.
Yeah, that's not an achievement.
It's not. You're not hanging banners. It's not like, well, we did make it to the second. No. These are what poverty franchises do. This is the exact reason why LeBron left. And speaking about LeBron, guess who was at that game?
Yeah, LeBron's courtside.
Now there's rumors about LeBron possibly going to Cleveland. We're going to touch on that later when we talk about Bronny.
Sure.
But there's a real feeling in this Cleveland organization that I always have hope for, and it's my fault. I still think that this organization wants to win basketball games, and they don't. They just want to sell tickets, get their fan bases a little bit happy in Ohio, when that state and those fans deserve way more with those really good, young, talented players.
Yeah.
I love Mobley. I love LeVert. I love Donovan Mitchell. I love Donovan Mitchell so much, and
He's a beast.
I'm kind of excited that there's a lot of Laker rumors, but
We'll see. There's every star who's
yeah, it's
disgruntled
Laker
is
rumors,
tied.
Yeah, dude, and Boston, say what you want about Boston.
I'm a little worried about Boston for one thing. It felt in these games with the Cavs, they're sleepwalking at some point.
Do you think that they're not trying to play their... Do you think Boston's at a point right now where they're not playing at their full potential because they don't feel like they have to?
I
Or do you
think they're
they
sandbagging
just
it.
Can't get to that full potential.
No, I think right now they're sandbagging because they don't need to. Like, let's minimize injury, let's minimize risk.
But do you want to get to the finals and be like, all right, now we need to play? And you
That's what worries me about this Boston team
Yeah.
is they'll take they take their foot off the gas so early in games. And you saw it in the last game. Like, the Cavs were able to make a run back. They only lost by like 9 points.
They covered.
They covered in a game they
11 and a
should have
half.
been blown out in.
Crazy.
And that's what worries me about the Celtics right now is through the playoffs, they take their foot off the gas way too early.
Yeah.
And they have to suddenly scramble to come back into the game.
It looks like Donovan Mitchell's going to be out again this next game. So
Yeah,
it
it's
looks
going
like
to end the
gonna be a
series.
wrap, yeah.
But on the flip side, Porzingis is looking to make a comeback.
Probably
not this next game, but probably the
game
next
after,
series.
Yeah, so he'll probably be here for the first Nick Pacer or whatever, whoever wins that series.
Yeah, whoever comes out the East.
Which is huge for them if they end up playing a team like Denver.
Yeah, they're going to really need him.
Speaking about Denver, game just ended 112-97, 15-point victory for the Denver Nuggets. Jokic goes on a complete tear. This is a 3 straight wins for the Denver Nuggets after everyone declared them dead last week.
Yeah.
After Luke going down 0-2.
You can't count the team out. You can never count this team out.
Is Jokic the most dominant? Is Jokic the best big man you have ever seen with your eyes?
Top 3.
Top 3.
Because I have to put Shaq in there.
Shaq's the most dominant athlete I've ever seen in any sport.
Exactly.
He's my favorite Laker of all time.
And I want to throw like either like a Dirk or Tim Duncan into that conversation.
I would throw Tim Duncan in that conversation, but here's my thing. Jokic plays such an elegant style compared to them.
Oh, I agree.
It's everything that they can do and more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a pass that we saw behind his back, no look, that it was like to Aaron Gordon that should have been a slam dunk that he got fouled on. That I'm just like, only Jokic does this.
Yeah, I completely agree there. They all, like, those 4 guys I've mentioned, like, they all play very different styles of basketball, and they played in very different eras. So it's hard to do an apples to apples comparison, I feel. But
to you,
to me right now, I think he's in that conversation of best big man I've seen in my lifetime.
3-time MVP.
Yeah, no, and
Not a lot of people get that.
No, not a lot do, and he deserves to be in that conversation. He is gifted. I think the big tell for me is longevity from here on out.
Is this series over?
No, not at all.
You think the Timberwolves can come back?
I think they have a shot at coming back. I mean,
It goes to Minnesota next game.
yeah, they go to Minnesota. Interesting to me where it's been a true back and forth. Like, only road teams have won in this.
Yeah.
Except for tonight breaking the trend.
Yeah.
But like, I think Minnesota, how this game has gone back and forth and push and pull, I feel like Minnesota can win this next one.
Do you remember 2 weeks ago when everyone was like, Anthony Edwards might be Michael Jordan? And we were just kind of like, hey, chill out.
That's a little early. It's a little early.
It's just like, hey, just let the young guy ball.
And he's been balling.
Your boy, Rudy Gobert, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, held Jokic to cool 46.
If you want, he's been rotated off Jokic. They are playing him very well. I give credit there.
You cannot say they're playing Jokic very well.
No. I'm saying the Nuggets are playing Gobert very well.
Yeah.
Like they are moving Gobert around to go cover Jamal Murray. They're sending
just
him
40. Just 40.
Okay, but yeah, they're sending him to go cover Murray. They're sending him to go cover Porter Jr. to go cover Aaron Gordon. Like, they are doing. Like, and that's the Nugget style, is they rotate and set screens and move the ball around so well.
Yeah.
Like, no
They
defensive.
look for their mismatches.
Yeah. No defensive match ever stays in place. And I love that about the offense. So the Nuggets.
That's the best part about a well-coached team, a team that's played together so much. They know exactly the other players' tendencies. They know exactly where players are going to be. That's that Golden State stuff that Curry and Draymond Green were doing.
Yeah,
with
they're
Klay
able to
Thompson.
read each other's minds almost.
They know exactly how to play with each other, and that's the level of, like, intimacy of basketball that, like, makes basketball lovers go, like, this is why we watch the sport.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Oh, it's great to see. But I think the big differential in my mind for this series and what's turned on, especially in the last 2 games, is Aaron Gordon coming to life.
Aaron Gordon turned into prime Michael Jordan, just hitting shots. It's crazy.
I mean, the guy is averaging 5 assists per game right now in the series.
Crazy.
Doubled his season average. Like, he is getting more involved than just his typical rebounds and a few points. He's putting up average of just under 18 points a game. People
that kind of oh, we didn't expect this from Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon in Orlando was a baller.
Yeah, he's 100%.
The Denver has a super team. Like, people don't talk about that. Jamal Murray's a top 5 point guard in the league.
Yeah.
Jokic is the best player in the league. Aaron Gordon's a top 10 power forward in the league. Michael Porter Jr. is one of the best spot-up shooters in the league. Like, he has I don't want to say a Kevin Durant-esque shot, but,
he is a deadeye.
He is like a tall, small forward that hits daggers, and they have a rotation of guys that come in and just smash you in the face.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man, that people downgrade this team so much. KCP plays good 3-and-D. Like, it's wild how expectations of Denver after 2 games was like, nah, they're done. Denver's cooked. They're not even trying. Dude.
They adjust. That's the scary part of the team. They adjust so well.
The scary part is they do it without trying way better than Boston could ever. That's the scary part.
Are you just claiming the West now?
I think they're gonna win. I've thought I've this whole season. I'm like they're going back to back.
Yeah, no, it made sense. It makes sense on why people would think that.
Let's go to hockey, Don. It's hockey time. Hockey. Let's get those pucks on the ice.
Sure.
It is Rangers Hurricanes. How do we feel about this? I own a Hurricanes future.
Yep.
Talk me off the ledge.
It's hard to do. I mean, Canes. They're fighting. They're scrappy. That's great to see.
I've 100% convinced myself that they're going in Game 7. I've 100% convinced myself.
It wouldn't surprise me there, looking at the 3-2 series.
Hurricanes are really good at home.
Yeah, they are.
They're 13-5 across the past few postseason at home. They did lose 1 game at home already. They're going back home for Game 6. I think they win that game, and then it's hands in the air for the Rangers game in Game 7 in New York.
Okay. Like, to me, the fun part about the split here was the post game where the Canes were talking, and I forgot what player was saying it, but they're like, yeah, after we're down 3-1, we just felt like we have nothing to lose. We just want to keep playing hockey. Yeah. Like, this is our time to stay on the ice.
Is that good?
I think it's a dangerous mindset.
I think so too.
Because it is a double-edged sword. Because you get games like we had the other night where it's 4-1 and you just blow the other team out. Like, they controlled the game the entire way through. But on the flip side, you get reckless. And you are playing with desperation, which causes mistakes.
You don't think it's house money? Where it's like, we have nothing to lose, let's just lock in. Instead of being so uptight. Because the Rangers have everything to lose at this point.
The Rangers do. They have been...
President Cup, does the curse continue? They're the clear number 1 seed across all of playoffs. They're they've literally lost no games in the playoffs until a few nights ago.
Yeah, these are the only losses so far.
Back-to-back losses now,
and that is a big conversation. A lot of reporters are having with the Rangers right now. Are you guys taking your foot off the gas too soon? Or have you guys downshifted into coasting through the playoffs? And you're leaving the door open for the Canes to come back.
How do you feel?
I think the Rangers close it out.
I think it's a safe pick.
I think it's a safe pick, mainly because I think the Hurricanes, you get 1 game of desperation and you do well. Because it was focus, it was controlled. Well, this last game was the desperation game in my mind.
Every game is desperation when your back's against the wall.
That's true, and I think
you chew your foot off and survive. That's what you do.
That's what worries me is they've been in this mindset and they're going back home. I think it's going to shoot them in the foot.
Yeah,
I think they're going to get sloppy and make desperation moves.
That's
what worries me. I don't want it to happen.
I agree with you, but
I would love it to go to Game 7, but I'm worried about that happening.
Canucks Oilers, a game that we just finished watching. Ridiculous game.
Yeah.
Oilers being in control the entire game, only for the Canucks to score 2 last 5-minute
tie it up
goals, and then the Oilers to be like, all right, check this out. We can score at any time, too.
40 seconds left.
Score. All right, cool. Let's wrap this up. It's 3-2 now, right?
It is, I believe, 2-2 in the series.
Oh, 2-2 in the series.
2-2 in the series there. Oilers, they're changing that worked. That was the impressive part. Stuart Skinner got pulled. They brought in Calvin Pickard, who was able to hold it down very, very well. That was the big split in this series, was Stuart Skinner allowing 4 goals on 15 shots.
That's insane.
In their last game.
That's so bad.
in the game where the Canucks were outshot 45-18, and they lost 4-3.
Dude, sometimes I get it. Everyone talks about like hockey is literally playoff hockey is all about like how hot is the goalie.
Yeah.
And like I know teams have made it to Stanley Cups, winning Stanley Cups based off like their goalie only giving up like 7 goals. Like it's crazy.
When you have someone who's able to lock down that way,
it's insane.
It's
also
you can win
crazy
1-0
that, like,
and move on.
Coaching matters so much in hockey of like line shift and like being able to know when to pull your goalie and being like, you're not in it today. Let me go switch it.
Yeah.
This team needs a different tempo. This goalie does this better and this better. It's really fun to watch. And it's such a fun sport that even your girlfriend was sitting on the couch being like, I think I like hockey. Like that's
that made me so happy. That was the
Yeah.
biggest compliment there. And like the Canucks scoring 12 goals and 58 shots, I don't know how good of a coach you have to be to like, hey, it's time for a change. They're under 60 shots in the series. They're almost 1-5 going in.
That's insane.
Like so it makes sense, and I hope Picard's able to keep this going. He's a 32-year-old journeyman at this point.
Man.
2-3 years ago, he was in the AHL. They just brought him back up to the NHL.
Well, this is a good story then.
So it's a good story if he's able to hold it down still. Like one game does not foretell the series.
Let's go on to the Florida Panthers versus the Boston Bruins. Another series that was like, all right, this thing's dead. Here comes Boston taking it back. It is now 3-2. Boston wins tonight. Boston, not the most talented team, right? But a lot of people like Boston for what their history is, what they represent, and their potential of what they can be. Florida just won a championship.
Yes.
Clearly have immense talent all over the roster. Why do I feel like this is the beginning of Boston getting ready to smash Florida to the ground?
Boston are the Steelers.
Yeah.
That's the best equivalent I could put. It doesn't matter who they have on the ice. This team is not as talented as they were a few seasons ago. They've had a few guys like end up retiring and leave. But it's the cultural mentality of Boston stays relevant and they stay tough.
Are you worried at all from a Florida Panthers future holder?
I'm not too worried right now.
Yeah.
This is the way Florida plays a little bit. Is they get rough.
You would like them to close it out, though.
I would love them to close it out.
Yeah.
Like they ideally they close it out in this next game.
3-2 is so dangerous, though.
3-2 is a scary spot to be,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at them like, dude, Boston's never won a game 7 in the modern era, as far as I know.
That's actually that must feel great to have in your back
Like
pocket.
I hate it because in my
'Cause
gambler
you have
mindset,
the ability to be like, it's gonna happen.
it's
to me,
due,
it's gonna happen.
it's
to me,
due,
it's gonna
and
happen
I
to me.
hate that.
No,
But,
yeah, that's actually way worse than being like, oh yeah, they've never won it. I'll
like
be
it feels
fine.
like a game 5. Like they've never won a game 6. Like if
Yeah.
it goes to game 6 and the series is there, they lose it. I'm like, okay, because if it happens, game 7's right there. Like,
Yeah.
all right, I could
Got the
justify.
insurance pick.
I hate that not having that insurance
It's
there.
gonna loom over your head too.
It will for the next few days, but Florida plays such aggressive hockey. This entire series has just been a prison yard fight the entire time.
Some questionable shots.
Definitely some.
Yeah.
No, without a doubt, there's been a lot of
Yeah.
questionable referee
But
decisions.
I kind of like that the refs across every game are just like, let the boys play.
As long as it's not going to cause major injury,
Yeah.
you kind of got to let it like that. That's the sport a little bit. I don't know where to really go with this one. Like, because there is the logical side where I'm like, no, okay,
Just
Florida
take the
can close it
Panthers.
out.
Take all your
We're
favorites.
good.
You love the favorites.
But Boston scares me, and I'm not afraid to admit that Boston terrifies
It's a
me
classic
because
Donovan
they've
thing.
been there.
You want to go with the favorite, but you're like, I'm gonna hedge myself.
I want to go with my favorite. I want to go with the guy that I have the future on.
Yeah, dude. That's why we're going to the next game. It's Dallas Avalanche. I have an Avalanche future. I still have to hold up. Both of my teams, the Hurricanes and the Avalanche, are against the ropes.
This one's a rough one. 3-1.
Dude,
This is a scary one.
the Dallas Stars, I'm sorry. These guys are great. These guys play insanely great defense, and all of a sudden they learned how to hit their shots, making them one of the most deadly teams I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They're really, 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 really good.
I mean, there is some issues with the Avs. Right before Game 5,
Injuries.
Nurshkin was suspended for 6 months.
Yeah.
They announced that an hour before puck drop.
Beautiful.
Which changed up a lot. He violated the players' union, the league assistance program. It's not for PEDs. It's a mental health program as well as substance abuse, like narcotics.
I hope he gets help.
Yeah, he's battling some stuff. This is his second time this season falling into this kind of suspension. That's why it's the 6-month one now. It's tough. Like right before you go play a playoff game.
Yeah, to lose a key piece of your team.
A key piece, and especially something like this. Like I understand why the Avs would be rattled. Like that's just a rough spot to be in.
Do you think that this is over now that suspension and the Avs kind of not playing up to their potential again? And
I think this one's kind of done. They have some major injuries to a lot of their core guys right now. They have I think
Dallas,
they have another 2 guys off the ice right now. It's just a rough spot.
I think Dallas just stomped the life out of them, and it's kind of just over for them emotionally.
I mean, outshooting them 16-2 in the first period,
Crazy.
Dominating the game for a 5-1 win. The stars are rolling through. It's up to the Avs to try to mentally battle back. But
I think
that's
they can win one
big
more.
ask.
I think they can win one more.
I hope they do, just like to say like we can do it.
Yeah,
but it's a tough spot
they
for them.
just have so many great players in their prime. I feel like they're wasting this era of Colorado Rocky. But I get it; they've already won a Stanley Cup and like stuff like that.
They have their cup. I think the window's still open after this season though. Like their core is still going to be around for the next 5 years, so they still have a good window.
Gotcha. Let's move on to bust of the week. Don, who's your bust of the week?
The Mavs for shooting free throws. Anybody who steps to this line.
I didn't think you were going to do this.
Oh my goodness, that infuriates me more than anything. I'm fine if I see an NCAA team struggle at the free throw line sometimes. I could accept it a little bit.
You can live or die, too, if there's like 4 seconds left on the clock, your star player misses a 50-50 ball for a three-pointer.
Exactly. That's a tough shot. That's a clutch. Like, there's a lot of variables. If you're missing free points and you are shooting below 50% in a game, that's on you guys. 11 missed free throws.
Is that on Jason Kidd?
I think that's on the coaching. I think that's on the coaching,
what
and I think that's on the game prep.
For free throws to make free throws better?
Practice, because that's something
they practice free throws. No, it's just about pressure.
It's about pressure. It's about simulating game time mentalities for shooting those free throws. That is something almost every coach that I've had playing basketball for many years always did. Was you run the entire practice, you do your sprint drills at the end, and then you shoot your free throws. When you are the most exhausted, when everything is worn out in you, then you practice those shots, because that's what you need.
That's a good idea.
And that's what fell apart, is they consistently could not handle the pressure of free points for the entire game. You get outshot 11 misses versus 2 misses by the Thunder. That settled the game right there.
My bust of the week, and I don't want to get too into it. I kind of ranted on you with it earlier. Harrison Bucker came out and did a little commencement speech at a college this week, talking about male masculinity and women's rights and how women should
just did not feel like a good look.
I think in a world where women's athletics is becoming more prominent, in a world where people's voices are being silenced, and where men are now being encouraged to speak on their feelings, it's so tone deaf and counterproductive for a figure of a man that just won 3 Super Bowls, and clearly is the second biggest special teams player in the league. He is. Yeah. He's behind Justin Tucker. He is one of the biggest.
I was going to say, the only one I would put up near him is Cordero.
And Cordell doesn't even do that like that anymore.
Yeah.
So it's such a prominent figure in the NFL. If you're an NFL fan, you know who Harrison Bucker is.
Oh, easily.
To be in that spot and be like, hey, I'm going to
talk at a college commencement
and talk to them at a level that is so lesser and putting people down and silencing their voice in a way while also being able to claim that it's for masculinity in the most tone deaf and like ignorant way. It was such a sad taste in my mouth, and I'm not a kind of guy that's like, just shut up and play basketball or shut up and throw your football. I'm not. These people are people. They're allowed to talk and speak on their beliefs.
They have the platform to advocate for things.
My problem is this. He thinks he's speaking up on a topic that no one's talking about. Newsflash, buddy. I have an X account. I'm on the internet. There's about 7,000 men on the internet talking about all the things he's talking about. And guess what? They all just sound as dumb, as ignorant as you are. So please, for the love of God, shut up and kick. That's all I want you to do.
Like what got under my skin, like listening to this speech, the commencement speech was him basically focusing that women should be happy in the household, go get married, have kids. That's your role.
That's what they be striving
and that
for. Felt
very like not only is that like such an old school mentality, that's like that I personally don't agree with.
That's why me and Don are buying LA Sparks season tickets this year.
I would love to. But like not only like I putting the political side apart from it, you're talking at a college commencement where people have paid money to go to this school to get a degree and worked their butt off to get to this point in their careers.
I'd be so pissed.
And then to have someone, like to have the speaker there at your crowning ceremony going, yeah, basically what you did was wrong. You need to focus on this instead. Just that feels disrespectful.
Don, if you could get any person to speak at your college commencement speech, you sit down there, you have no idea who it is. This person walks on stage. Who do you want it to be? I know mine. I'll go first.
Sure.
Mine's Ronald McDonald. If Ronald McDonald came up and he was just talking about like capitalism and how great it is, and like I'm a very liberal guy, but if he was up there just talking about capitalism and Donald Trump and just crazy stuff, I couldn't get mad. That's Ronald McDonald. That's the guy. And like Grimace hands me my diploma. Like that's I shake hands with the hamburger. Well, that's a good day.
That's a great day.
That's a good day in my book.
That's a fever dream. That's what that is a fever dream.
Yeah, so getting up there and being like, I just got Harrison Butker. This sucks. See, why did I even go to Georgia Tech or whatever school?
Oh, Georgia Tech was his one last year. It's this was a private Catholic college.
Oh, that makes way more sense.
In this like very small school in Kansas.
All right.
Yeah,
you know what? They're really happy with their agriculture degrees anyway.
Liberal arts school. That's the crazy part. A liberal arts school.
I guess that's as liberal as you can get in Kansas.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No, mine would definitely be like. I know it's a homer pick, but it's because of something you've done for me. Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis would get me
because
so hyped.
He would make you feel like that moment was the biggest moment in your life.
I'd be like, who wants to go play pickup after this?
Like, it would, like, I don't care if people won't.
You think he'd run out the tunnel for his
that'd
speech?
Be amazing if he ran out the tunnel. Stage? Like, for those, like, my background is in mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
And so, like, a lot of the people I graduated with don't know sports. They were not big sports heads. And they would be hyped coming out of that speech.
Oh, dude,
Ray
Lewis.
You don't need to know who he is. That man is one of the best orators, I think, of our generation.
Ray Lewis can just speak on topics that he has no idea and get you enthralled in them.
Yes.
It's insane. That man has a gift.
I am thankful he uses his powers mostly for good.
Yeah, good job. Yes. Let's move on to never too late news. We're going to go through these topics pretty quickly. Let's go with Bronny going to the NBA. He's officially announced he's going to the NBA. He did the combine today.
Yesterday.
Played in the pickup game today or yesterday.
Yeah. The 5-on-5.
Really well. He measured a little short, actually.
That was the weird part.
6'1", but
6'1.5".
Jumps really high, 41-inch vert. Played pretty well in the pickup game. 5 points, 5 assists. Okay.
The skills combine where they have basically where they have you run around for and just continuously shoot to mimic exhaustion in a game.
Like 19 for 25, right?
He went a minute and a half straight of just made shots.
He's a very good shooter.
19 for 25 to end it, but very good shooter there. Showed a lot of improvement from his season, his freshman year at USC.
He almost died, so let's give him a little bit.
Yeah, he did have the cardiac event.
He did say today that he never dreamed or thought about playing with his dad before, and I'm happy that LeBron's son's following the path of his father of just being a serial liar. I'm happy that we have that in the league, and we're going to continue that as a tradition. I love LeBron. That's my favorite thing about him. He's just lies all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And that the fact that his son's just going to carry on the tradition,
wild.
I love it. I am a LeBron fan.
Yes, yeah.
Me and Shannon Sharp, heads of the fan club. As a man who hasn't been dreaming of this day, how do you feel? How was your analysis of Bronny Jr.?
Bronny, I don't think he's going to see much playing time when he actually enters the league. I mean, he's coming off a freshman year freshman year college. His height and his vertical leap and his wingspan are very impressive for his size. I'm confused on how USC gave him an extra 3 inches in height. Was just wild.
That's just good old college stat pads.
Well, because I understand with college, especially combine in terms of speed for the NFL.
You remember when Bryce Young was 6 feet tall?
Yeah.
And then he went and got measured by the NFL, and they're like, this guy might be 5'9".
That's the most wild thing that they do with these guys. I understand, 40-yard, add an extra 5/100th of a second.
Yeah.
That makes sense for a pro day. You're adjusting very little. 3 inches on a point guard means a lot.
So much, especially in today's NBA.
It does.
Where Bronny being a 6'4", maybe defensive and wing D shooter, that's a pretty good player that can be a first round pick with potential.
6'1",
6'1.5".
Yeah,
you're taller than LeBron.
I'm taller than Bronny.
But he is only 19.
He is only 19. He still has a lot of room to grow there. And that's why I think...
What do you think is the potential? What is the ceiling for Bronny? Be honest. What do you think?
I think ceiling for his height or ceiling for his career?
What he can be in the NBA.
6-man. Just based on
You think he can be good enough to come off the bench?
I think he's good enough to come off the bench.
Okay.
He will play a role. I don't even know if I want to say 6, maybe 7th man.
I think he can be a Jordan Clarkson-esque player.
And that would be an accomplishment. I think because not a lot of second-generation NBA players make it to that level,
Klay Thompson,
elevated.
Steph Curry. There's a lot of Klay Thompson guys. Larry Nance Jr. There's a lot
Larry Nance Jr. still bounces around sometimes.
He's been on the Pelicans for quite some time now.
Yeah, now. But
he's a pretty good player. There's a lot of second-year or multi-year guys. Gary Payton Jr.,
Tim Hardaway Jr. No.
Yeah,
there's guys who
guys.
make it, but I'm just saying none of them elevate as high as their dad. It's rare to see one elevate as high as their dad sometimes.
It's hard. It's a hard threshold to reach, but
it is.
Steph Curry did it, and Anthony Edwards is going to pass Michael Jordan, which is his true father. Jimmy Butler, also Michael Jordan's father. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. But no, I think Bronny will do fine. He's going to be a late second-round pick right now by the current estimates because he's just not grown physically enough to make an immediate contribution. He's going to be a multi-year development project.
Don, you wanted to talk about this. Mbappe leaves PSG.
Yes, announced Friday. Officially, he is
last game was Sunday.
Done. Last game was Sunday. Monday, he was given the MVP award for the league.
That's so crazy.
The Liga won MVP.
Does he already have a contract with another team? Where's this going?
So right now, he's looking at going to Real Madrid, but there's conflict with that contract
because they don't have money, right?
No, Real Madrid has money. That's not a concern. All right. It comes down to the Olympics. Mbappe wants to go play for the Olympic team for France.
Correct.
Real Madrid basically sign with us. You're not going to play because they want to.
Can they do that?
They could kind of control him a little bit. It depends on the contract he signs, depend on the exclusions in there. Mainly because they don't want him to risk getting injured in a game. Yes, it means a lot to the country.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean anything to this team.
Yeah,
they're Spanish team.
Paying him $200 million a year.
It's going to be an insane amount.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
The current estimates are off the charts right now. Yeah. I think that he's going to try to hold out the contract as long as he can to get onto the Olympic team.
I'm a big fan of the Olympic Games. We're going to be covering those when they come around.
Yes. He said it's always been his dream. That to me right there is when one of the best players in the world says, "This is my dream to do this." there's very few things to
Mbappe
get in
during
his
the
way.
World Cup was prime time. Watch this sport.
Yes.
He's an amazing goal handler, goal shooter. He's fantastic. One of the world's best right now. Saying that, I would love to watch him in the Olympics. I think he needs to get paid, and he's going to figure out a way to do both.
Without a doubt.
Quick, WNBA started today. Caitlyn Clark made her debut. 20 points in her first game, 5 for 15 shooting, 9 for 9 from the free throw line. WNBA, market right now, me and Donovan are going to be fans.
Yes.
Starting today.
Well,
we are locked in.
Not just starting today. We've
gone to Sparks games before.
Yeah, we've gone
and we've supported our local colleges in the women's athletics. We've done that.
But more to the extent of day in, day out viewership.
It's based during July and summer. It's going to be baseball and WNBA. I'm in.
I'm excited for that.
I'm in.
That's going to be amazing to do.
I can't. The league's expanding. I'm going to become a big fan. I think we're going to get season tickets. They're not that expensive. They're fun. They're down the street from us, so it's like kind of a win-win.
Yeah.
I love it. I love everything that's going to be happening. Do you think Caitlyn Clark's going to be Rookie of the Year?
I don't think she's going to be Rookie of the Year, and that's more due to the team around her.
They're letting her shoot.
They're letting her shoot. She is she's going to become a volume shooter, which doesn't always bode well for the team around her, considering they're one of the worst teams in the league at the moment. If you're able to get her some support, I think the best part of her game is her court vision and delegating the ball very, very well. I think in a few years she will become one of the most dominant players if she's able to get a number 2 by her side that can play off her very well.
Look at us talking WNBA ball. I think next week let's do a WNBA breakdown.
Sure.
Before the season.
Before the second week of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Maybe a fantasy basketball team. We'll see.
I'm in.
Question of the day before we end this. This is the biggest question in sports last week.
Sure.
Kind of a conversation that's been carrying. A lot of people, Austin Rivers came into the scene and talked about how most NBA players can come into an NFL roster and immediately make a starting roster while NFL players can't come to the NBA and win. So here's my question to you, Don.
Sure.
Would a team of NBA players win more games in the NFL than a team of NFL players in the NBA?
No.
If so, what do you think the records would be? In an 82-game season, that's what the NFL players get in the NBA, and then a regular 17-game season, NBA players. I think the NFL players win 15 games.
Really?
I think they can win 15 NBA games.
I had them. Well, okay. This is my first time hearing the question. That's why I was like, you sprung this on me.
Yeah.
I love it.
So let's there's no specific players because we really only know from random highlights of Puka Nacua playing in All-Star games, and we know there's some freak Myles Garrett footage out there, and there's some guys in the league.
Parsons is able to do it really well.
Ali Cox played at Baylor, but he wasn't good enough to play in the NBA. I do believe that NBA players are more athletic than NFL players, but I don't think their bodies can hold up because of how big they are to the standards of what the NFL is.
Yeah.
I don't think their minds are capable of playing at the level of what the NFL is, just getting thrown in there right away.
Well, I think there's very few players from either sport that would be able to perform efficiently on either end.
Correct.
Because basically anyone over 6'10", written out immediately in my mind. They're not going to survive the NFL.
6'7".
6'7".
You're not playing tackle. You're going to play tight end, sure, but
that's the borderline.
You're going to take damage, buddy.
You're going to take some hits.
Yeah.
So you're having the smaller guys, and I'm trying to think of who would be those kind of guys, like Julius Randle, Zion. They'll be fine.
Do you want to build a? Who's your NBA, NFL team point guard, or quarterback? Who's the quarterback for your NFL-led NBA team?
Right now,
I would be Luka would be on there.
I would say Halliburton's in there for me.
Halliburton's the answer
because he has such great vision around.
Assist master.
Yeah, I think he'd
throwing it to John Morant's, throwing it to some Obi Toppins, doing some real damage, throwing it to them.
That'd be interesting.
Zion,
I think, would be
Zion
borderline.
Williamson can only block so many defensive ends.
I think Zion would be a great running back.
over. Who's going to be on that offensive line, Don?
Yeah, there's not many.
Rudy Gobert?
That's the issue I find is, you can have them come into the skill positions and they'd be okay.
Where do you put Jokic?
No, he doesn't make it. No, you don't want Jokic out there.
Yeah,
you don't want Jokic out there.
Joel Embiid can't make an NBA roster. Like, Anthony Davis isn't making the team. Like, there's so much that's not making that team. It's crazy.
That's a struggle part. Whereas majority of the big
NFL
name
guys?
NFL guys can slot into that small forward shooting guard.
Games.
Yeah, you go pretty well
They're
there.
going to play small ball. They're going to play small ball.
They're going to have to be forced to play small ball.
Yeah.
But you get like I'm even thinking like just sized up guys. Like you get Myles Garrett or like a Justin Houston.
You're telling me
they could go body.
You're telling me you don't think Justin Jefferson can take a half court ball and dunk it? Like, I think he's dunking from the free throw. Yeah. I don't think there's a problem there.
No, I don't think there's a problem there. Yeah. I think it's just I would love to see Tyreek Hill. just the pure speed.
He'd take like 15 steps in between each dribble. It'd be awful.
It would be terrible, but it'd be interesting to see.
You take NFL players winning.
I think NFL would perform better in the NBA. You have more diversity in player size. You have more diversity in player skill sets.
Mac Jones as my point guard. Book it.
God.
Imagine.
Ooh, that's a terrifying thought there.
That'd be Lamar. Lamar's my point guard.
That'd be an interesting one.
Lamar, and I'm running Anthony Richardson as my power forward.
Oh, that one's a good one.
Yup.
I like Richardson there.
Yup. Pick of the week, and then we're ending the show.
Sure, let's do it.
My pick of the week is the Hurricanes, -1.5, +160. I said it. I think they're going to win this game. I think they win it handedly. I think they win by 2 goals. I'm taking the Hurricanes to finish this, to get this game to Game 7. I believe in them. Hurricanes +160. Saying that, I am the coldest gambler on the face of the earth. Every pick I have given confidently, I can confidently tell you will lose. Take that information what you will, Donovan.
Sure. For me, I'm taking the Panthers to close this out against Boston. I'm just going to double down on where my money was in the beginning of the playoffs. I think that they handle Boston here. Boston, as far as I can recall, has only won really 1 or 2 games from behind in a Game 6 series in my lifetime. They're going to struggle here. I think Panthers put it away.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening to another episode of Bust Picks. Please check out the TikTok, the Twitter, the YouTube. And remember, enjoy us. Have a great time with us. And remember, pray for the parlay.